You ever felt that cold distance growing between you and the person you love most, so slow, so quiet, that you can't even tell when it really began? That's what happened to me. I was married for barely 2 years, and yet it felt like everything was falling apart already. My wife, who used to light up every room with her laugh, suddenly started avoiding me. She'd stay quiet during dinner, always seemed distracted, and when I tried to talk, it felt like she was somewhere else completely. I'd catch her staring at her phone, quickly locking the screen when I walked by. And every time I asked what was wrong, she'd smile that forced little smile and say, "I'm just tired." But that smile, it wasn't real anymore. At first, I brushed it off. Maybe work was stressing her out, maybe she was dealing with something personal. But days turned into weeks, and the gap between us kept widening. I'd come home to silence. She used to greet me at the door, arms open, excited to tell me about her day. Now, she'd just mumble a hi without even looking up. I started eating dinner alone. Watching TV alone. Sleeping beside her, but feeling like she was miles away. And then came the paranoia. You know that voice that starts whispering ugly thoughts into your mind? It started small, maybe she's just tired. Then it got darker, maybe she's talking to someone else. I told myself I was overreacting, but I couldn't shake the feeling. She was distant, distracted, secretive. She kept her phone close, even took it to the bathroom with her. Every little thing became suspicious. I started replaying moments in my head, trying to find clues, anything that could explain why she'd changed so much. I even checked her social media, looking for hints, for signs of someone new. I hated myself for doing it, but the fear of being replaced was eating me alive. Then one night, everything boiled over. It was late, around midnight. I was sitting on the edge of the bed, pretending to scroll through my phone, but really just watching her from the corner of my eye. She was lying there, facing away from me, holding her phone close to her chest. I asked her, "Is something wrong? You've been so distant lately." She didn't answer for a long time. Then she just said, "I'm fine. Please, can we not talk about it?" That was it. No emotion. No reassurance. Just a cold wall between us. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling, feeling this burning anger and heartbreak mix inside me. My mind was running wild. I started thinking about divorce. I started imagining what it would be like to walk away, to be free from the constant confusion and hurt. Part of me still loved her desperately, but another part, the part that was tired of feeling unwanted, wanted to end it all. So, I started preparing myself for it. Quietly. Secretly. I told myself if she didn't want me anymore, I wasn't going to beg. I was going to leave with dignity. But then, something happened. One morning, a few weeks later, I came home early from work. She didn't hear me come in. As I walked toward our bedroom, I heard her voice. She was on the phone, talking softly, so softly I had to pause at the door to hear her clearly. At first, I thought she was talking to that someone else I'd built up in my head. My chest tightened. I almost didn't want to hear it. But then I recognized the tone. It was different. Gentle. Nervous. She was talking to her mom. And then I heard the words that stopped my heart. She said, "Mom, I don't know what to do. I'm pregnant." I froze. My knees literally felt weak. I leaned against the wall, trying to process what I just heard. She kept talking, her voice trembling. "I haven't even told him yet. He's been so distant lately, and I'm scared. What if I can't be a good mother? What if he's not ready? We've only been married for 2 years. What if this ruins everything?" Her voice cracked. "I don't want to disappoint him. I don't know how to tell him." And that was the moment I realized how completely wrong I'd been. All those nights I spent thinking she didn't love me anymore, she was terrified. She wasn't hiding another man. She was hiding fear. The fear of motherhood. The fear of not being enough. The fear of losing me. I felt this wave of guilt crash over me so hard I could barely breathe. Here I was, doubting her, planning to divorce her, while she was carrying our child, our baby. And she'd been going through it alone, scared and unsure, because I'd already pulled away emotionally. I stood there for a long moment, trying to gather myself. My heart was pounding. I wanted to burst in and tell her everything I felt, but I didn't want to frighten her. So, I took a deep breath, knocked softly on the door, and stepped in. She looked up, startled, her eyes wide and red from crying. Her phone slipped from her hand. "I heard you," I said quietly. For a moment, she just stared at me, frozen. Then she started crying, covering her face with her hands. I walked over, sat beside her, and gently pulled her hands away. "Hey," I whispered. "You should have told me." "I was scared," she said between sobs. "I didn't know how you'd react. I'm scared of being a mother. I don't know if I can do it. I didn't want you to be disappointed in me." I took her hands in mine, and all the anger, all the jealousy, all the stupid thoughts I'd had, they just melted away. "You're not alone," I told her. "We'll do this together. I'm here. Always." She broke down completely then, and I held her, feeling her tears soak into my shirt. And for the first time in months, I felt her hold me back. Not distant. Not cold. But close. Real. That night, we talked for hours. She told me everything, how she'd found out, how she'd been feeling sick but didn't want to worry me, how terrified she was of being a bad mom. I told her how I'd misread everything, how I'd let my fears turn me into someone suspicious and bitter. We both apologized more times than I could count. And when we finally went to bed, I didn't feel that emptiness anymore. I felt peace. Because I realized something important. Sometimes, the distance between two people isn't caused by betrayal or lack of love. Sometimes, it's fear. Fear of the future. Fear of not being enough. I almost lost my wife because I stopped believing in her, stopped trusting the bond we had. But that night, I learned that love isn't about always understanding everything. It's about staying long enough to try. Now, every time I see her smile, or every time I feel our baby kick when I place my hand on her belly, I remember that moment. The moment I could have walked away, but didn't. And honestly, I'm grateful. Grateful that I overheard that conversation. Grateful that I got the chance to make things right before it was too late. Because sometimes, the truth doesn't destroy you. It saves you. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's this: never assume silence means distance, or fear means betrayal. Sometimes, the person you love the most just needs you to listen, really listen, before they can find the courage to speak.